Hey, good morning, everyone. Hopefully you're enjoying this blessed Sunday, and happy Father's Day. To all the dads out there, I hope that you're enjoying your morning so far and you have some nice plans for relaxing and just enjoying this day where we recognize fathers. And today I wanted to come to you and, normally I give a Father's Day message every year, whether it's written or video. And so today I wanted to do two things in this message. The first thing is a little tribute to my dad, and the second thing is a call to action for us as fathers. So, my dad, this guy right here, the stoic one, Charles Henry Mack, the elder statesman of the Charleses in the family, of which there are quite a few. I was thinking back last night and this morning about my dad and what he's exemplified for me as a father as I've gone through my life. And there were many things that I thought about and many things that I remember and that have been imprinted on me because of my dad. But there are two things that really stand out, and that's his undying love for his kids and his selflessness, especially when it comes to his kids. And my sisters and I can all attest to the fact that the one thing we knew growing up and the one thing we still know now as adults is that dad's always there. That the love he has for us never wavers. It has never wavered. Even when we've messed up, and I will tell you, we've definitely messed up from being kids on to being adults. We continue to not make the right choices all the time, but the thing we always know is we can always come back to is dad's there. He's always going to be there. That love that he has for us is something that we never question. There was never any doubt. There was never any, does my dad love me? He made sure that we knew that and we felt that and we understood that throughout our lives. And that's something that I know has shaped the way that I am and I try to be as a father and try to make sure that my children always know that I love them. They always know that I'm there for them because I know, because my dad did that for me. I can tell the way it helped shape my life. It provides you that foundation that no matter how tough it is, no matter how things may get, that you can always go back to dad, that you can always go back to the loving arms of Charles Henry Mack, and he'll be there for you. And that's something that you can't even put a price tag on. What it's meant to my life. And I know if my sisters were on here, they'd say the same thing. And then the selflessness piece. My dad literally will give his kids the shirt off his back and the shoes and everything else. And he's displayed that throughout his life. And he would travel across country. He would travel thousands of miles just to come and help us paint a room or just to make sure that he got to see us. It was always something that my dad wanted us. He wanted us to know that he was there for us, and he wanted to always be of assistance. And my dad always wanted to make sure that we had experiences throughout our lives. I remember us going on vacations constantly. We'd go on vacation during spring break. We'd go on vacations during the summertime. And it was always, my dad wanting us to experience, different things, wanting us to experience what the country had to offer, wanting us to experience more than where we just were, and wanting us to have those lasting images. And it's funny because my parents still have some of the albums with the pictures, back in the day when we actually had to take pictures and get them processed and all that stuff. They still have those things. And when we go back home, you can look at the pictures, and some of them I wish they'd get rid of, me with these high socks on and that. But, at the end of the day, they were all experiences that we can all look back on. And again, my sisters and I, we talk about those experiences. We talk about those things. And that's part of the selflessness, that my dad has displayed throughout his life for his kids, and making sure that we never really, we don't remember wanting for anything. He made sure that we had what we needed as we grew, and he still does that today. So, those two things are traits that have really been solidified within me. And I try to remember those things as I go through my life, and as I'm a parent and I'm a father now, and I want to make sure that my kids know that I love them, have undying love for them, and that I would give the shirt off my back for them, just as my dad did for me and my sisters. And Dad, that's just, I can never repay any of that you've given, but just, I wanted you to know, and I wanted people listening to know that the foundation that you've provided and just that solid rock of knowing that you're there at all times is something that just has been such a blessing in my life. And it has helped to shape me into the man that I am today. So, I thank you for that. And on this Father's Day, I just want you to know I love you. And you've made a tremendous, tremendous, tremendous difference in my life and in the father that I am and I strive to be. And so, speaking of Father's Day, I think this Father's Day is really what I would call a call for action, because Father's Day 2020 is unlike any Father's Day that I have ever been through. And I would say for many of you, it's the same way. We are dealing with a global pandemic with the coronavirus. We are dealing with a fight for racial equality and justice that stemmed from the brutal murder of George Floyd several weeks ago. And these things are shaping not just our local areas, our nation. These are shaping the world that we live in. And to me, it's a time for fathers to do some self-reflection. It's a time for us as fathers to not be quiet. It's a time for fathers to step forward in action. And what I mean is, we as fathers have to ask ourselves first, what is the image that we are portraying to our children? What are we teaching our children? What is it that they see when they look at us in this time, in this instance, dealing with these two things that I just talked about? What is it that we are displaying to our kids? Are they seeing the right things? Are they seeing us be men of integrity? And I'll go back to integrity because it's something that I've talked about often. And I think in this time that there are 4 things, as I've mentioned, that are so crucial that we need to have to make it through this time that we're in right now and to be better on the other side. And that's integrity, communication, empathy, and courage. And so today I ask us as fathers to step back and think about this. Integrity. Are we honest in what we do? Are we men of good moral character? When our children look at us, can they look at us and see a man of integrity? Can our kids look at us and see what integrity looks like live and in the flesh? Not the definition, but in our actions, in what we do each and every day. And again, I say especially in this time because it's easy to do that. It's easy to model that when there's no pressure on you. It's easy to model that when we're in what we would call good times. But when we're in the middle of the storm, when we're in the middle of the battle, when we're going through the things that we're going through right now, are we still modeling integrity? Are we still being the people of character that our children need to see? Are we being that model? And what are we communicating? What are we communicating to our children during this time? This is a time when us as dads, we don't need to stay back and be quiet. We need to have those conversations with our children about what's going on during this time. We need to have those factual conversations with our children to help them to understand how they should navigate this time that we're in, how they can help to solve the problems that are going to impact their generations far after we're gone. And it's also a time, dads, where Communication with other dads out there that maybe don't look like us, is crucial, because we need to understand each other. We need to understand what each other goes through as dads out there. And I think we'll find out as we have those conversations that there's a lot that we go through as fathers that is similar. There is probably more that's similar than it is different. But we never know that if we never have those conversations. We never know that if we never engage with anyone that happens to look different than us, that may speak different than us, that just doesn't have or travel in the same circles that we do. And that communication leads to this next thing I talked about, which is empathy. Empathy is so important during this time. And we as fathers, we need to display to our children what empathy looks like. They need to see that we can walk in the shoes of someone who does not look like us. They need to understand what it's like to look at someone's situation and say, while I do not feel their pain because I am not them, I can understand it. Our kids need to see that. They need to be able to model that. They need to be able to put that into their lives as they go forward. Because until we can walk in someone else's shoes and understand that their cry for justice, that their cry for help is valid, then we'll never be able to get to that place where we all want to be. And so empathy, dads, step back, ask yourself, in this situation that we're in right now, have I been displaying the correct amount of empathy? When my kids look at me, do they see empathy displayed from me? And then courage. At the end of the day, we have to step up. At the end of the day, we have to call out wrong when we see wrong. We have to call out injustice when we see injustice. We have to do that. And again, our kids are watching us. Our children are watching. What is dad doing during this time? Is dad stepping forward and saying, you know what? That is wrong. That is not right. This needs to change. Or is dad staying quiet? Is dad saying nothing during this time? Dads, I really think that this is a crucial time for us, and we can make a huge difference in what's going on right now. We can make a huge positive difference if we take action. If we make sure we're men of integrity, if we communicate with our kids, if we show them exactly what it's like to be a person of integrity, if we show them what empathy looks like, and if we show them what courage looks like, we can make a huge difference. I told you about, how much my dad and his actions impacted me even up, into the age that I am now. So we can never underestimate the power of our actions on our children. So I ask us as dads, in the middle of all the relaxation and celebration that we're going to do today on Father's Day, I ask us to do some self-reflection. I ask us to look at ourselves and see what we're modeling for our kids during this time. And I ask us to make corrections. If we're not modeling what we need to model, if we're not showing integrity, if we're not showing empathy, if we're not communicating, if we're not showing courage, then let's step back and let's fix it. Because I believe it's never too late to course correct. And your kids are watching. And ask yourself, what is the model of a father that you want your kids to see? Guys, it's up to us. Dads, yes, it's our day. It's Father's Day 2020. But it's not a day just to sit back. It's a day for us to step forward and take action. It's a day for us to help be a solution to the problems we're facing right now. We can do it. It really is on each and every one of us. So every dad that's out there watching this is my call to action for you. I'm challenging you to take a step back, reflect, look at where you are, look at where you need to be, and let's take some steps to get there. And if you need a brother to call out to, I'm here. We've got technology. We've got phone, Zoom, everything else. Let's have those discussions. Let's do what we need to do so that we can be the model of a father that our kids need to see. God bless everyone. Enjoy this Father's Day. Enjoy this blessed Sunday. And I look forward to chatting with you again soon. God bless everyone.